Hello everyone, Manthrall here. Welcome to a little bit of different video for this week for the Monday's weekly updates. I'm going to be going over the update, and then I'm going to go over Game Jam a little bit, and then I'm going to go over the patch notes. I will have the time set up for the patch notes, like usual, down in the description below. This way, if you just want to see the patch notes, you can go straight to that. No problemo. Okay, but for the first thing is, it's here. Skill Cape perks are finally here. I know a lot of us have been wanting to see it for a little while, but it is finally here. It's it's good, but there's certain things that it could be. I personally would think better, but at the same time, I know there's people out there who will find the benefits in different capes. It's just certain capes don't really appeal to me as much as they probably should. But without further ado, all the perks are actually listed on the main page. I was going to go through and buy them all and show them to you guys, but I don't have to do that. Okay, so perks list. Attack. Gives a chance for degradable items not to degrade. Strength. Dismember lasts an additional 2 seconds, which is another hit. Defense acts as a sign of life, has the same cooldown as that too. Range acts as Ava's devices. Prayer imparts the same benefits as lit burners in player-owned house. So that's really good. That's a good one. Magic, this is one of them that I think could be a bit better. This is one where I don't think it should just be at just banks. I think it should be anywhere, because it just seems like that would be a really good perk for it to have. If it's at a bank where you can go to Profundus, and there's banks all over the place in there, and that you can also change your spellbook there. So I'm a little torn on that. Rune crafting. This is one I think that could be improved just a little bit. And it says activate to reveal the required rune for the Rune Goldberg machine, which could be good. I know some people will love that for the Viswax. Me, I think they could have done with like maybe giving more runes when you rune craft. I think that would have been better. Construction, reduce the cost of creating planks. Constitution, this is a really good one in my opinion. Double life points regained over time. Agility, gives a chance of double tickets from the Brimhaven Agility Arena. Stacks with the Karamja task set reward. So that'll actually bring more life into the Brimhaven Agility Arena. And who knows, maybe they'll revamp that and do some more stuff with it too. So, Herb Lore activates clean all herbs in your inventory for no XP. Really not missing out on much with the XP there. So that's actually really good. Thieving lowers your stun time when caught from 4.2 seconds to 3 seconds. Crafting, thread is no longer needed when crafting. Fletching gives a chance of automatically stringing a bow when fletching unstrung bows. Slayer, activate to teleport to any Slayer Master in the game that you can access. That's really good. Hunter, activate to give your Herblore Habitat Vine plant the effects of its Hunter Potion. Mining gives an invisible +2 skill bonus. Smithing gives the same effect as the goldsmithing gauntlets. Fishing gives a chance to get double catch. Cooking prevents food from being burned. That is that is beautiful right there, because I mean, let's say down the road, they have released something that can burn like insanely a lot or whatever, and you have that cape where you're set, unless they make a tweak that. But I really don't think they would make that tweak once you have the 99. Fire making, activate to light a fire on the spot you're standing on. Invention slows the drain of invention charges. Summoning gives a chance to save charms when infusing pouches. Dungeoneering, teleport to any available resource dungeon. Farming gives a chance gives a chance of instantly harvesting a patch. Divination gives a chance of saving divination materials. Woodcutting provides an increased chance at finding birds' nests and crystal geodes. And finally, the quest point one adds 30 seconds onto your Tears of Guthix time. That's actually a substantial amount. And it's also worth noting that if you are a completionist, okay, here's the outline for this. If you have the max cape, the completionist, or trim completionist capes, you can get 3 perks onto that one cape. Now, if you have multiples of those capes, it's still the same 3 perks. So do choose that carefully as to what you would do. Personally, if I was any of you guys out there, I would save that for stuff that's going to affect combat, because that's going to be the time you're going to want things to go the way you're going to need them. Like having the prayer effect, having maybe constitution, maybe strength. I mean, I know constitution isn't, way above and beyond great, but it's not that bad either. And if you're doing it for a basic, Slayer task, that's going to be pretty good. Or, have an invention where you can slow the drain cost, or if you do have degradable gear, you can put the attack perk on. So, I mean, there's a lot of good combinations, but me personally, when I get my max cape again, I will be going for combat affiliated. The rest of them, they're great. It's just they're kind of situational, so I'd rather have them for that situation. All right. Also, don't forget, there is still double XP going on. It's a tail off period. It only lasts another week, starting today, and you can only get up to another million XP. All the same restrictions apply as the regular double XP, for like what you can and can't do. For streams this week, at 1700 on the 21st, the Game Jam Q&A. And Friday, the 24th at 2100, community update with Mod Shawnee. And on Sunday, the 26th at 1900, PVM with Mod Lee. Now, I would like to discuss some of the things I had seen on Game Jam. Now, on Game Jam, there is absolutely, from what I've seen, nothing that was horrible. Everything was actually good. Certain things popped out more to me than others. I know some people were going to like one update more than the other, but me, I had my favorites, and I'm sure everybody else will have their favorites too. But there is a quest going on with Mod Osbourne, and I hate to say it, but I can't remember the lady's name. I'm not used to seeing her yet. I think I've seen her twice. I'm pretty sure she's been doing a lot of stuff from the way it sounds. So, but they're doing a quest. It's going to be a little bit different. And whenever the quest does come out, I do plan on doing the quest guide for it right away. This way you guys can see it, because it's very different than their traditional quest. But it's not up there on my top list. I'm saving the best for last of the stuff I can remember. A big thing that's going to be for some people is the Penguins in Space raid. It looked kind of funky. They really went out there with that one. But it's not necessarily for me, but I know there's probably going to be quite a few people who do love it. I probably will check it out in time, but for the time being, I don't know what to tell you. They didn't really go too deep into it. But there is a lot of graphical updates going on. which actually all look really good. I think my favorite graphical one I've seen was they were moving the cabbage face punch, and they were also filling out that area, uh, the Lumbridge crater, if you will, and they're making it more like the planet was scarred, but it's still there. So it's like a crater, but it has trees growing in it now. It's going to have a pond in the middle. It looks really, really nice. And there's going to be more stuff with more graphics. Mod Shawnee, he's doing stuff with the buffs and debuffs, which is actually pretty good. It's going to be very helpful for those who are doing bossing, and certain icons that are missing, like the Enhanced Excalibur was one of them they said about. That'll actually be in your buff/debuff area. There's going to be more you can do. He was saying about in the long term, what he would like to do is have 2 separate boxes, one for buffs and one for debuffs, and then have them completely separate. But for the time being, he had it all in one, but it could just have a lot more than it currently can. It's also going to be able to be filtered, so you can pick and choose what you put into it. Overall, pretty cool. But like I said, most of it was a lot of graphical, a lot of bug fixing, or maybe even quest fixing type stuff. So, quest fixing being stuff like the Shield of Arav, where you no longer actually are required to have a second person help you with it. But you still can, of course, but it's no longer required. The one they were talking about that's up next is Imp Catcher. That is going to be receiving a little bit of a mercy, if you will, for the gameplay of it. There's going to be 4 I want to say they're charms, but 4 beads, there we go. Still going to be 4 beads, 4 items like that, but it's going to be a little bit different than before. It's not going to just be going out and killing thousands of imps until you get the exact beads you need or buying them. They're making it more user-friendly, if you will. The last 2 things I wanted to discuss, I think there was more, but I think it was mostly graphical. I should mention the one because I know there's probably people out there who are going to be happy about this. One guy, he's relatively new. He's only with them for, I think, until this coming September. It's kind of like an internship type program. But what he's doing, and he doesn't think it's much, but it's actually big to a lot of players. Me, not so much, because I like all the graphical. My computer can handle all the graphical. But what it'll do is all the ground effects, like the high grass, or maybe the invisible, like the rocks that are there, but they aren't actually there. All the ground decorations. He's going to have it so you can actually remove those ground decorations. So it'll be an actual optional thing now. There's more things he would like to do. It's going to take some time, and he's doing pretty good. I mean, that's almost ready, from what I've seen and heard. Now, one of the biggest ones for a lot of people, not for me, I'm saving the best one for last, in my opinion. But a big one for people is the aura bag. There is now going to be an aura bag. That's right. And what it's going to be is you're going to be able to... They want to have it so you can set up your favorites. This way, all you have to do is click and, activate your favorite. But now, all the auras in the game are going to be stored in that. So no longer is there going to be a ton of auras constantly in your bank, or if you store them with Juan. But you're always going to have them readily available. It's going to make it so much easier that it's going to be pretty big. Also, one thing I absolutely forgot to mention, and it's actually probably right up there with the auras. there's going to be more outfits coming into the game for skilling. It's more skilling outfits. Some they did mention was like the soy chef, which is if you go to the gnome stronghold, you know there's that gnome cuisine. If you do, every time you do a delivery and get him something that he requires, you have a chance at getting one of the pieces. And there's going to be something with prayer where you can get it's going to be with the ecto tokens. So already that's good XP for prayer. It's just going to be another reason for you guys to go ahead and go and do that. So that's good news. And there's two more outfits. I can't quite remember what they were. Oh, divination and summoning. Summoning, they want to do it with familiarization, and the divination outfit, they want to do it with the Gothixian caches. So both, it's kind of like that thing of where you have a chance to get it every single time you participate type thing. So really good things coming. But the one I really want to discuss, the one that really has me excited, is the new Ring of Wells. So they're reworking the lock. I mean, they did say there is an RNG in the game, so that I'm sure a lot of people already expected that. But now you're going to have new types of Ring of Wells. And I believe there's supposed to be a new gem coming along with this, which is, I believe, the elite tier of these new rings. Now, whether there is just a low, medium, elite, or if there actually is four, I heard originally there was three, then I heard there's four, so I'm not quite sure where it's all going to go. But they're also reworking the drop table system with the rare drops, and this is all coming from actually Mod Timbo. Usually the one for balancing, and this seems to be really overpowered. But that might be because I usually seem to have pretty good luck when it comes to games and getting the items I need. So I don't really know. But basically, the better the ring, it'll have stats. Also, it's going to start, the better the ring, it'll remove some of the junk items. Well, quote unquote junk items from the rare drop table, so you won't have to worry about them, like the big drops of flax. So that's pretty good. And then also they are saying about you would get your normal drop, but on every single drop there's also a chance to get something from the rare drop table. So basically you'll have your chance and then you'll have your Ring of Wealth chance. So essentially there's going to be times where you might get 2 drops from the way it sounded with all that's going on. So let's say you actually get it. Let's say, for example, they were showing stuff with necks. And let's say you got a Torva plate body. And that was just your regular drop. You know, that was just your regular luck drop. And that's what you got. Well, let's say the Ring of Wealth also kicked on, so you got a roll on that yet too. And then let's say you got another Torva plate body. So you got 2 Torva plate bodies and 1 drop. So, I mean, I know the odds of that are extremely unlikely. But that will be a possibility. If I heard everything correctly, or if there's no more changes to it. Now, keep in mind, those Game Jam, there's easily going to be changes to this type of stuff. But that's, at least the highlight for me, was that. Okay, now we are going to head into the patch notes. A little bit longer video than normal because of the Game Jam wanting to discuss that. But, okay, for graphical, the texture on a coal rock and lumber swamp has been fixed. Skills, D&Ds, and minigames. The Trophy Taker perk no longer works with only one kill remaining on a Slayer task to prevent skipping awarding Slayer points. Players can now gain item XP and use relevant perks when smithing spears and hostas. Chaotic equipment can now be bought from the Dungeoneering reward shop without the previous combat requirement. Yes! I've been waiting for that. I never understood the point of that. Okay, other. AoE abilities on NPCs will no longer target another player's familiar in the wilderness. Players can now keepsake their Staff of Devotion. 2 new boss pets have been added to the game. Yakaminu for Yakamaru and Didizag for Beastmaster Durzag. They are requirements for the gold and final boss title and have a 1 in 300 drop chance rate with a threshold of 60 kills. They can be won in an off-loot kill and will still be awarded if a player is disconnected or leaves the group after winning the pet before managing to claim it. Signs and Portents of Death will now correctly activate with death support unlocked. A Scrimshaw of Sacrifice can no longer be deactivated immediately after killing a creature to obtain both the bonus XP and drop. The Christmas Wand and Fairy Wand are now classed as magic weapons. The Christmas Scythe is now a slashing weapon. A number of typos in Tiny Death's chat has been fixed. The Wilderness Worm drop table has been reworked. The chance of Wilderness Worm spawning has been lowered. Players can now correctly wear trim skill capes if their second 99 skill is Invention. Cyclops and the Warriors Guild have now corrected the weaknesses. And examining Little Tuzzy without a pet override active will now display the Beastmaster Durzag kill count. And last week hotfixes are: it is no longer possible to use Fortitude and the next Angel of Death curses at the same time by activating them in a specific order. And a check has been added to recalculate quest points after the Shield of Rav single player login check to ensure players don't appear to have lost one quest point until they next log in. So a little bit of patches, mostly everything else. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.